Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you remember what we were talking about in our March intro video, I talked about doing a segment on rubber stamping. This is it, and on die cutting. I will do the die cutting one later. I wanted to talk about rubber stamping first. To give you a bit of background on why, I add rubber stamps to my journal creations, my bookmaking, anything paper related. I seem to add one or two or many more rubber stamps to it. Adding rubber stamps is a great way to personalize what you're working on. And I've been rubber stamping for a very long time. I think probably since the hobby came out, late 80s, early 90s. Companies like Personal Stamp Exchange, Stampendous, Inkadinkado, Hero Arts, maybe if you're stampers, those ring a bell. I got so into the hobby that I actually launched my own line of rubber stamps. I don't do any of that anymore. I actually used to make them from the wood blocks to the vulcanized rubber and everything in between, right out of my house. And but I don't do any of that anymore. I'm not affiliated with any stamp company or product, so everything that you see in my videos is everything that I use and genuinely love as a product, and I would only recommend it to you if it was actually worthwhile. The other thing I'll talk to you about is what you need to get started in the hobby and recommendations that I have to start off your collection small before you explode it into something that I have. I have a lot of stamps, so you definitely don't have to have that many to have amazing accents on your projects. It's a great hobby, and I'll show you how I do it. And here we go. I pulled these stamps randomly from my collection because I wanted to show you the difference between types of rubber stamps. There's really three different types. There's the traditional wood-mounted stamp, the clear or polymer stamps, and the rubber stamps with no wood mount. I'm going to go through each one individually and talk a little bit about the pros and the cons. The wood mount stamp is lovely to look at. Easy to hold, nice to stamp, gets messy on the back. Some people like that, some people don't. It doesn't bother me. They look great on a shelf. The drawback is it's hard to see where you're stamping, which is why many people like the other types better. I'm just going to be stamping in a black stamp pad just to show you the image. I should have brought the stamp pad into the scene. But here we go. Firm pressure, straight down, straight up. Try not to rock. Not bad. So that's the wood-mounted stamp. They all stamp relatively the same. So let's move on next to the red rubber stamp that doesn't have a wood mount. And I actually have one exactly the same that is a wood mount, ironically, just to show you the difference. So you would buy the unmounted stamp, is what it's called, just like that. And you would have to get an acrylic block to stick the stamp onto. And it's a cling system that it sticks on with. You don't have to use any adhesive or anything. It just sticks by friction. You can get different blocks. This one happens to be a Martha Stewart one that I got, I think, at Walmart. And this one here is a Stampin' Up one. So you just place your image onto the block. And this is a Stampin' Up stamp, and they have a nice visual on the other side. So here we go, stamping this stamp. And I actually bring the stamp pad into the screen, which is nice. I'm using a Stampin' Up stamp pad. I like their inks. And again, they all work the same way, down and up. I'm going to see if I get a little bit darker of an image. And I like to put my stamp over a few areas on my stamp pad. Down and up. If you're only going to get one color of stamp pad, I would really recommend just getting a nice solid black, one that's archival safe as well. And here's the difference between the wooden one. The wooden one actually stamps a little better, but I think it's because it has softer rubber on the back. They're cute to color in as well. Lastly is the polymer style clear unmounted rubber stamps. They come usually in a set similar to this. They might be punched out. Stampin' Up! Uses a DVD cases to store theirs. Here's just another acrylic mount. You have to get acrylic mounts to suit the size of stamps that you have. I always like just to push it down on a flat surface just to make sure that it is on the acrylic mount. And to demonstrate this, I will stamp again in my black ink right onto the white paper. Acrylic stamps polymer stamps are a lot softer, so you sometimes have to really be careful in how hard you push compared to the rubber. So always do a test piece to make sure that you are applying enough pressure or you need to apply more. So this is a Stampin' Up! Set, and it shows how they come. The other set I got at Michael's that I was just stamping with. Again, this is a Stampin' Up! Stamp pad, black, archival. I really enjoy using that stamp pad. Nice, rich, black color. So when you get started in your own rubber stamp hobby, don't go crazy. Start with a few images. I picked these ones out of my stamp collection because they show a variety of different images, but nothing too crazy. So you could use these to make cards if you wanted. You could add them as accent pieces. And I'm going to show you a little bit on how to add them into your paper art creations. It's so tempting to buy all those wonderful stamps from Michael's or wherever you get your craft supplies. But really, I'm encouraging you to start slow and really think about multiple uses for your stamps. So images that you can use a variety of different places, not a horse stamp that's pretty limited. So here I'm just showing you how to use a stamp, and I'm going to put it right down on this nice red piece of paper, a nice owl stamp. I got this at Michael's. Michael's has a variety of different stamps, and sometimes they have a discount bin of stamps that are quite reasonably priced. I'm going to stick it right there, front page of my journal. Love it. I really like the contrasting color between the yellow and the red. So it makes a really big difference when you add a little bit of an accent. And adding a stamp is your own personalized way of saying it's yours or giving it to a friend or a family member that has an image that means something. I'm just using a glue stick. I'm big on glue sticks. They're easy to clean up, fast to dry. And there we go. Nice. So I'm going to show you another way to use the stamps in a journal. And I'm just going to pick a page. This page looks pretty good. I'm going to take this flower stamp and I'm going to start stamping around the edge. I'm going to take a piece of paper because I'm going to be overlapping the image onto that scrap piece of red paper. Just using your black stamp pad again. You only need really black stamp pad because you can color in your images and you can get more creative with your stamp pads once you start getting bigger into the hobby. Going around the side, you can really see that it transforms the page. I'm going to add a nice message into this journal later, and it's kind of nice that it's all surrounded by little daisy flowers. I might even color one or two of them in later. Next, we'll try something different. Again, picking another page. I'm going to grab another stamp, inking up my stamp pad. I'm actually going to try red, and it's just a simple little heart. A simple heart is a really nice stamp to have. A set of little stamps is nice to have in your collection because you can add them to a lot of different accents to your paper art creations. Everyone likes seeing a heart when they turn a page. So next I am going to add a little hello to the top of this page, a journaling page. And that was not good. It was horrible. I have a shadow effect, meaning I rocked my stamp and got the edge of the stamp on the left-hand side there, and it's not even at all. I was definitely not happy with this. But let's fix that simply. And to do that, we're going to cover up our mistake. With this nice piece of straight paper, I'm going to stamp again. I'm going to be more careful, going straight down, straight up. And now I'm going to just use my glue stick and cover over the misstamped hello on this page. And nobody, except for our viewers here, are going to know what's underneath. It just looks like an accent piece of paper in the journal. I use this trick all the time. Keep all your scraps. This is a perfect example of cutting off a strip of paper and keeping that strip for some other use. Perfect. I'm happy with that. I'll add more to that, and I'll use this journal to showcase some of the things that I'm going to do with the die cuts as well. So lastly, I'm going to be using that wreath stamp that I used earlier, the one that's the polymer clear stamp, a couple times in the black stamp pad, and I'm going to really accent this page right here. Make sure you always have a flat surface when you're stamping. And push straight down and straight up. There's so many wonderful things that you can do with stamping. You can use embossing powders. You can do a variety of different stamping techniques. If anyone is interested in learning more details about rubber stamping, please mention it in the comments. I would love to do another video to help you out. Lastly, I decided to go to the dollar store. This was $2 from Dollarama, and give you an option if you just wanted to go to your local dollar store to get started in the craft. I picked something that was pretty universal. The feathers, there was not a lot of choice, to be honest, but I thought this was good to see what it's going to be like as far as quality goes, just to give you an idea. Most of my stamp I purchase online. I have from my past. I also buy from Michael's and from Stamping Up. So here we go. This is a 3-part stamp. So how this works is that we're going to have a main shadow of the feather, and then we're going to layer it up. So we're going to take the lightest color first, and we're going to see how this goes. And the ink pad is totally dry. So that was a real fail on that. So I decided, okay, I'm going to use one of my colors. And I'm just going to take a nice color stamp pad. It's Stampin' Up pad again. This is a yellow stamp pad. Again, you can go crazy with lots of different colors of stamp pads, but really start off small and realize what you're really going to use and what you're not going to use. So I'm stamping down, and it doesn't stamp great, but it's okay. There's that spot right in the middle that I didn't get, and it could be because the stamp isn't completely flat. It's probably not made as well as my other stamps, and there we go. I'm going to go with that one for now. And then I'm just using a damp cloth to clean off my acrylic block and my stamp. A great tip actually to clean your stamps is to use baby wipes. Baby wipes work really well to clean your stamps. Next, I'm going to layer this up and use the red. We'll see if the red is any wetter than the yellow was. And it is completely dry as well. Fail number 2 for this dollar store set. I'm going to use my red Stampin' Up pad. You can also buy stamp pads at Michael's. I would recommend using one of their coupons because their stamp pads are expensive. Stampin' Up is kind of expensive too. I just really like the quality of Stampin' Up. A lot of my stamps I also buy used online. And that looks pretty cool. So that's layering up another color onto my leaf. So far I'm pretty happy with the leaf stamp, not happy with the stamp pad. So never rely on the dollar store for your first stamp pads, because that would be horrible if you took that home and had a project and couldn't use it. The blue, we'll see if that's any better, and that is completely dry as well. So those are going in the garbage. I'll use my black. I don't happen to have a blue on my table right now. So the last leaf, line it up the best you can. This is a definite bonus of the clear stamps. Also, clear stamps are a lot more inexpensive than the wood-mounted stamps. Wood-mounted stamps are the most expensive you can buy. I think actually a lot of companies are stopping to make the wood-mounted stamps because I think it takes just so much more to make them. And if you have a few acrylic blocks, you can fit whatever stamps you have that are unmounted onto those blocks and continue your collection with the unmounted stamps. A lot of people love storing unmounted stamps as well compared to having all the wood stamps on a shelf. Most of those unmounted stamps come in little cases, like I said, like a DVD case. Sorry, this cutting is off the screen. There we go. And there's the little feather. So I'm going to add this feather to my book. Overall, I'm pretty happy with that stamp set for $2. I mean, you can't really go wrong. I could have cut out a little bit more detail of the feather, but for now, I'm just going to do that and stick it on a page. Trying to decide which page looks best. Again, sorry it's off screen a little bit. I'm just going to put it on this white page. Takes away from my bad cut job of my feather. All these little tricks to make your art look better. Using the glue stick again, I'm just going to stick that down into my journal. That's perfect. So now I have a few stamp accents in my book, and I'm looking forward to adding more. And I will also add the die cuts once we get to that video. Perfect. So for $2, that's a pretty nice feather. And versatile. You could have that coming off the page as well. And I'm going to show that right now because the set also came with a little tiny feather. And I'm just going to play around with it on the corners of the book. I'll just get out my red scrap piece of paper. And overlapping a page is a really neat technique because it doesn't have to be perfect in any way at all. Whatever you create and stamp half on the page, a little bit off the page, will work. Again, sorry that is off the screen. I need to move my camera up. So just a few little feathers going around this page. You don't have to layer that feather up as well, the big one that I did. If you wanted to have one solid feather on a page, you could easily do that. Write someone's name in the middle of the feather. So many options there. And that's what I'm talking about with the versatility of the stamps that you buy to begin your stamp collection with. Or if you have stamps now, go through your collection and see what you might be able to add as far as an accent piece. So here I have a few more journals that I had made, and these are kind of adventure journals, and just showing you that a simple stamp on the front of the journal really transforms it. An alphabet set is a really great addition to your stamp collection. I highly recommend an alphabet stamp set. And here it is, another set. I have several sets of alphabets. And the bridge is a stamp. The words here are a stamp. And then this crazy lady is a stamp that I stamped on a piece of paper and cut out and then glued on. So that makes a lot of transformation to your journals and makes it fun and unique. I hope you enjoyed this video. Comment below if you would like to learn more about rubber stamping. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time.